As we look at our team after the first two games, the one thing I'm excited about is that we're able to practice really hard and coach them really hard because it's a lot easier after those wins. So we've been working on a lot of detailed things. I do like the fact that we've had a lot of contribution from our freshmen, Crystal and Carr. I like our inside presence with Aaron and Brittany. I think they've been a great combo for us. Zuri Sanders has been strong on the board, so we have a lot of individual highlights. We're just continually working on the team concepts in a lot of ways to make sure we're making progress.
You mentioned Crystal. How impressed have you been with her transition into the college game?
Yes, very much so. You never know how a true freshman is going to react on game days, no matter how much practicing that you've done and how many situations you've put them in. So really pleased with how she's handled being on the big stage and the bright lights and on game day. And every single game is going to be yet another challenge for her, yet another test for her. But so far she's handled those quite well.
Have you liked Sydney's contribution coming off the bench?
Exceptional. She's been solid for us. We've really pushed her and really challenged her in a lot of ways, even especially defensively, and getting her shot off quicker and things like that since I've taken over. And she's really given us a spark. I mean, she's stayed very steady and poised, and she's handled all the coaching. She's been as coachable as anyone on our team, quite frankly, and it really showed the last game. But we love the firepower that she gives us coming in off the bench.
You take on a team that likes to shoot a lot of threes, and you want to shoot the three. Is this a three-point shooting contest tomorrow?
I would be okay, and I think the fans would be too if it turned into that. But, from the three-point line, they're as good as any team I've seen in a really long time, including my most recent 4 years in the Big Ten. Collectively, as a unit, they're averaging 15 makes a game. I mean, that's almost unheard of in the women's game. And they're shooting it at 57% clip. So, they hit 15 against Stanford, this most recent game they're coming off of. So they're very talented. They have at least six kids that can shoot the three legitimately, and so that's tough to go against no matter what kind of defense or what kind of game plan that you have going on. So that's certainly one of the major keys to the game, is that we slow them down. I wouldn't say shut them down, but slow them down from the three-point line.
Yeah, Idaho probably got a pretty good experience against Stanford. What do you think, when you play a team of that caliber, does it make preparing for the next game easier?
Mm-hmm. It could go either way, and it really depends on, the pulse of that team, and I can't speak for them. I mean, sometimes it kind of sets you back a little bit because, Stanford beat them by 40 plus, and they still made 15 threes. Or they could pull the positives out and look at the positives they did, and they could respond quite well. They do have a good mix of leadership with a couple of seniors that lead them on the team and lead them from a scoring perspective, and also some youngsters. So they have a good mixture on their team as well. But a couple things that we're really excited about that we think that we can focus in on is they don't rebound the ball particularly well so far this year, and they're getting out rebounded by 20 a game, and that's one of our strengths. So rebounding is definitely going to be key in the game, as well as we think that we can attack them with some of our size. They don't have our size as well as our foot speed. So we think that from an offensive standpoint, we'll be able to take advantage of a few things in that area.
Emma's wearing a blue movement shirt. Can you tell us about what that means?
I didn't hear you.
Emma is wearing a blue movement shirt down there. Can you tell us what that means?
Oh, so Emma and Dre are sitting out this year, so they play on the scout team for us, and the scout team wears those jerseys in practice. So Emma and Dre are part of that, so they put those on when they come in. They're playing someone on the scout. Yes.
And then I'm wondering, was Idaho your scheduling, or did someone do that before you got here?
We didn't do any of the games. We inherited all of them. So yeah, everything that we're playing is from the previous staff.
Coach really turned down the turnovers in the second game. What number would you like to be at? I realize 0, but other than what's a realistic number you would like to be?
Yes, if we're at 0, we're in the championship game. But 13 is a good goal number for us. It might be a little bit higher at times this year with some of our youth and adjustment. But we play fast-paced style. We're usually accepting of the 14, 15 range, but 13 is an ideal number if we had to cut it off in terms of what we really would like to see ideally.
You mentioned, clearly you guys wanted to shoot the ball more in that second game. Is there a fear, though, in this game that you're trying to match them 3 for 3? Is that something you want to try to avoid, or are you up for that challenge?
Yes, no, great question. I think, if we're knocking the shots down, I'm fine with that, but it's not something that we're definitely not going into the game thinking that we've got to match threes for threes. We're actually trying to limit theirs, and you don't want to get in a game where you're trying to match threes all night, because 45 of their points a game are coming from the three-point line, and that's a ton. So we're not looking at it as much from that as making them have to guard us with our height advantage inside, with our foot speed on the perimeter, things like that. So not necessarily going into it with that in mind. If it ends up happening that way, then game on, we'll roll with it. But we would have to have a pretty high octane offensive night from behind the three-point line to get to that 15 number. I mean, they've got to be ranked very high nationally. I haven't looked at that, but they've got to be high with the 15 made threes. That's got to be top 3 in the nation.
We've seen the conditioning from the offseason pay off in these first 2 games. How does it kind of change the way you work them when you're in season?
Well, yes, a lot of the work happens prior to, and now that we're in season, the thing is we practice full court. That's what I tell people. They ask me a lot, even my colleagues, about the up-tempo style that we play and how do you train for that, how do you practice for that. So once we hit in season here, it's just we try to keep everything moving at that pace, and we try to go full court in a lot of our stuff, especially the first hour of practice. Now you're going to stay for 15 minutes and see us half court, so don't judge me on that. But after that first 15 minutes of skill instruction, we're up and down, and so we just try to emulate the game with almost everything that we're doing to keep them in that type of physical conditioning.
2-0, off to a good start. Was there a lot of pressure taken off of you guys just from the standpoint of having a little bit of success at the beginning and seeing some of that hard work pay off?
Yes and no. I feel like it does kind of put us towards a great direction for the season, starting off 2-0, but at the same time, it keeps us hungry. Keeps us motivated because people are going to see so much in us this season, and they're going to be able to have to adjust to how we are compared to how we were in the previous season. So I feel like we're going to have to still be on our toes because in order to climb to the top, you have to keep fighting, and there's great teams out there to compete against, and our schedule is really tough. So I feel like it's amazing to be 2-0, but at the same time it keeds us hungry.
You guys kind of played 2 different games those first 2 games. How does this Idaho team compare to both of those teams, and are we going to see what you guys played like in game 1 or maybe like game 2?
These girls are very skilled. They can all shoot the 3, and that's something that we're really trying to dial in on this game, finding them in transition, finding them even in half court, and that's something that we're trying to focus on. We don't want to exchange 2s for 3s throughout the entire game because obviously 3 is more than 2, but we need to really dial in on that when it comes down to the game and knowing our scout, knowing our players, who to look out for whenever they sub into the game. And yes, we want to be able to play like we have the past 2 games. That's the goal. But we've been practicing very hard this week and preparing for Idaho.
How much life did Sydney give you guys off the bench in that last game?
A lot. Sydney coming in, hitting big-time shots, giving us a lot of energy. It's big. And something that we like to focus in on is whenever you sub in and come off the bench, heighten the intensity, and that's something that Sydney definitely did. That's something that all of our subs did, and that's something that we always tried to focus in on when it comes to coming into the game. No matter if you're a starter or not, whatever the starters bring out at the beginning of the game, if you sub in, you need to be able to heighten that intensity, and that's definitely something that Sydney and all of our subs did.
Go ahead.
Yeah, kind of touched on my question, but what have you made of the transfers in Chrisland through their first 2 games?
Coach Marlene did a great job bringing in the people that she did from JUCO, and then also having Chrisland come in was a huge thing. And then Sydney and T-Ha being redshirts last year and then being able to play this year, it's amazing for our team. We have things this year that we didn't have last year, and that's what is amazing about this team this year. We're bringing in weapons from all areas. It's not just our post players, but definitely our guards as well. We're able to shoot the 3. We also have inside play. So we're a lot more diverse than we were in the past, and that's something that's amazing about not just Chrisland, but every single player that's coming in. Chrisland brings a lot of great energy, especially as a point guard. She's a true freshman, and she has a lot of weight on her shoulders, but she's able to do it with poise, and she's been doing a great job thus far.
What's your relationship like with Chrisland? You're the only senior, she's the only true freshman.
Chrisland's like my little sister. We're very close, and I like to keep her close. She's my point guard, so a lot of things that she does on the court, I have to follow that. And, we try to bounce off each other and balance off of each other. She does a lot of great things for me, and I do a lot of great things for her. And I feel like we have great chemistry on the court, and that also comes about off the court, the things that we do behind the scenes. And, me and Chrisland have really been able to build a strong relationship going forward, and I'm glad that she's my teammate, not just my teammate, but my sister.
Oh, absolutely, especially we're hopefully going to push them into a zone. And so the key is that when they collapse on our big girls, that we'll be able to hit shots from the outside. So we'll be deadly and hopefully hard to guard.
How much life did you see yourself bring off the bench last week?
I tried to bring as much as I could, play my part, bring energy, bring effort. I mean, that's the only thing you can control. And so I really focused on that, and I thought I did a good job, so I'm going to continue to do that. So.
Let's talk about defense in this one, because this is a team that shoots 44% and 50% from the line. What objectives do you have going into this game that needs to be done for the win?
Oh, that's a huge objective for us. That's a big key to the game, is to guard the three-point line, because they are such a deadly team from the three-point line. And so it's going to be important for us to run back to the three-point line and find shooters, know where they are, and just be aware on the court.
Missouri kind of mentioned the energy you provide. I mean, I guess just where does that come from, and what does Coach talk to you about coming off the bench and providing a spark for this team?
I think it just comes from my passion, from my love for the game, from my love for my teammates and my sisters. We're going to battle. I'm going to give everything I have. So if that's energy, if that's what we need, that's what I'm going to bring.
Well, can you just talk about kind of how you got started with your dad and the coaching that he provided and the confidence that gives you?
Every time me and my dad had practice together, if I messed up, he make me run for it, or he makes me do it over again until I get it right. So I think that I just got that in my head a lot. When I mess up, just keep doing it over and over, and I have to keep pushing and not give up.
How have some of this, like Zuri specifically described you as a sister, how has she and Coach Stallings made it an easy transition to play for this group?
I would say it's really easy, just because the atmosphere and how we all got each other's backs and everything. They're all like my sisters. When I'm down, they push me and they get me back up. And when they're down, I did the same thing for them.
What did you learn from game 1 to game 2?
That's a good question. I would say when a play goes wrong, you have to stay in it. You can't just live in the moment. You have to live in the moment, then not just basically you have to keep pushing. I don't know. Yeah, not let it affect me.
Hey, what was the attraction that brought you here from Davenport, Iowa, to come to Texas Tech?
I would say the team and the coaches. They're all great, and they like to push me, and I like that. And I feel like they have my best. I have their, oh my gosh, best interest in mind.